Chapter 7 to 9. The two saiyans landed on the beach in front of Goku, Raditz and Krillin throwing up clouds of dust with the force of their impact. Nappa, a huge warrior with a shaved head and a thin mustache, stood slightly in front of Vegeta, smaller but even more intimidating. "Well," Vegeta said with a smile, "it's been a long time, Raditz. How's your baby brother? Oh, and I see you've got a little human friend who thinks he can make a difference." The Saiyan brothers and their human companion stood silent. "Fine. I'll get down to business. Tell us where the Dragon Balls are, or we'll kill you." "Not a chance." Goku stepped forward. "People like you don't deserve that kind of power." "All right." Vegeta shrugged. "It makes no difference to me. We'll kill you, leave one alive, and beat the answer out of him. How does that sound, Nappa?" "Not bad." Nappa grinned. "A year of space travel's got me itching for some action." His scouter beeped. "Hey, Vegeta, we got a couple more power levels headed this way." Piccolo soon became visible, landing with the group of Earth's defenders. From the opposite direction, Yamcha appeared. "So these are the Saiyans?" Piccolo glared at the pair of invaders. "Let's get on with it." Secretly, he was seething with anger. He couldn't believe that Goku and his brother had become so powerful. And as for the shorter Saiyan invader, indeed, Vegeta pressed the button on his scouter. "Let's see now, there's a surprise. Kakarote's at 2000 and Raditz is at 4000. "What?" Nappa did a double take. "Raditz can't possibly be as powerful as me." "Calm yourself, Nappa. Anyway, the Namekian here's at 1000, and the humans are both over 500. Now," he smirked, "why don't we stop playing around and show us your real power?" "Back up a bit." Piccolo frowned. "Namekian?" Vegeta snorted. "Is it something about this planet that makes visitors lose all memory of their race? The Namekians are a mostly peaceful species, but those warriors they do produce are usually high caliber. They are fabled to be able to create enchanted items, some of which match the description of your Dragon Balls." If there's a Namekian here, yes, it all starts to add up." He laughed. "Anyway, I know you can conceal your power levels, and besides the Namek was higher than this when he fought Raditz. So, let's see it." Raditz turned to face Vegeta. "Alright, but you may be sorry you asked." He released his mental blocks, letting his ki flow freely. "Yeah." A purple aura flared around him. Goku did the same, his pure white aura igniting. The sand around them began to levitate in streams, then dropped as they finished, exhaling in unison. "Ah?" Nappa was visibly pale. "Vegeta, are you getting the same reading as me?" "Yes, indeed." Vegeta, on the other hand, was still smiling. "Kakarote at 6000, Raditz at 12, impressive. I didn't expect that kind of increase in such a short time. I suppose I will have to deal with these two, you take the rest, Nappa. Judging by how much our renegade friends were hiding, I'd estimate the Namek to be about equal to you. Plant the Cybermen, let them deal with the humans so they don't get in the way." "Right." Nappa was doing his best to stay calm. He knelt down, pushing 6 holes in the sand, and carefully putting a seed in each from vials he took from inside his armor. Several seconds later, 6 grotesque green creatures, a couple of feet high, burst from the ground, screeching with ear-piercing volume. "Cybermen!" Nappa pointed at Krillin and Yamcha. "Kill the humans!" The Cybermen started to advance. "Careful," Raditz warned. "If they think they've been beaten, they'll try to self-destruct and take you with them." He saw movement out of the corner of his eye, and jumped into the air as Vegeta's fist flashed past his face. "Nice reflexes." Vegeta grinned. "Let's see how long they keep you alive against a warrior of the highest class." He took off after Raditz, and Goku followed, knowing from what he'd felt of Vegeta's power that Raditz wouldn't stand much of a chance on his own. The Cybermen stalked towards the humans. Krillin snapped his fingers as an idea entered his mind. "Get inside. Their numbers'll work against M." "Right." Yamcha nodded, and the pair dashed into Kame House, the Cybermen in hot pursuit. The 6 creatures surrounded the house, all jumping in through different windows and doors. With the humans and Cybermen inside the house, and the 3 Saiyans in the air, only Piccolo and Nappa were left facing each other on the beach. "So, you want to fight me?" Piccolo threw his weighted clothes off, and stood in a combat-ready stance as Nappa charged. "Come get me." Nappa threw the first punch, but Piccolo dodged to the side. He leapt over the hulking Saiyan, landing behind him and kicking at his back. Nappa jumped forward to avoid the attack, spinning to face his opponent and launching a barrage of brutal attacks. Piccolo parried each one, getting into the rhythm of the fight. The combatants separated, pausing for breath and weighing up their opponent. "I'll tell you the truth, I'm a little in shock at Goku and his brother surpassing me by so much," he said. "You and me both," Nappa muttered. "So it's good that I've got a big, bald punching bag to take it out on." Nappa glowered at him. "You'll regret crossing the Saiyans. You're all the same. Saiyan this, Saiyan that. You're like a stuck record. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?" Both fighters charged in, and the fierce combat resumed. Inside Kame House, Krillin and Yamcha moved cautiously across the living room, waiting for their enemies to appear. Something green blurred into view, and Krillin kicked a leaping Cyberman out of the air. It rolled, jumping to its feet, and hurled itself at him. "Behind you!" Yamcha yelled as a second leapt at Krillin's back. Yamcha intercepted it, punching it to the floor. The humans stood back to back, facing their opponents. "Let's take him out," Yamcha said with a grin, charging to the attack as Krillin did the same. The four of them battled back and forth around the room, smashing furniture and opening up gaping holes in the walls. Krillin dodged under a jet of acid which melted the lampstand. "Change over!" he shouted. Yamcha somersaulted away from his opponent, and they swapped enemies. Krillin focused his energy as he flew towards the disorientated Cyberman. Kamehameha! He thrust his hands forward, the blue energy beam sending the Cyberman flying right through the wall, disintegrating it. Yamcha dodged a flurry of wild attacks, narrowing his eyes. "Wolfang Fist," he yelled, launching a whirlwind of powerful blows which slammed into the Cyberman, knocking it through the floor and down into the building's foundations. The two warriors breathed heavily as silence fell. Abruptly, the Cyberman Yamcha had beaten jumped back up, screeching hysterically and trying to grab him around the middle. Yamcha sidestepped it, then kicked it away. It flew through the wall, exploding violently in midair outside. "Good thing Raditz warned us they can self-destruct, or that could have been me." Yamcha wiped sweat from his forehead, then jumped back as the ceiling caved in. 3 Cybermen leapt down through the hole. "Here we go again," muttered Krillin, raising his guard. In the sky above the island, Goku and Raditz rushed Vegeta, who vanished, appearing behind Goku and elbowing him in the head. As he tumbled away, Raditz dashed in, but Vegeta blocked all his punches easily, then rammed his knee into Raditz's stomach. "You'll have to do better than that," he gloated, kicking Raditz away. The brothers hovered in the air below the prince. "Man, he's fast," Goku whined, rubbing his head. "I can barely keep up." Indeed, Raditz managed to stand up straight. "I had my hopes up when we'd overtaken Piccolo and Nappa, but I forgot just how powerful Vegeta is." "Don't worry." Goku prepared to attack again. "We can win this, sure, it won't be easy, but we never thought it was going to be." They charged again. Goku disappeared as Raditz stayed on course. He kicked at Vegeta, who idly leaned to the side, slamming an uppercut into Raditz's chin. The brief second he'd spent dealing with Raditz had bought Goku time to get behind him, and he punched at the side of the prince's head. Still distracted by Raditz's attack, Vegeta couldn't dodge in time, and he fell head over heels away from them, rolling backwards and catching himself in the air. He floated up to face them. "That was clever," he said, grinning. "Well, such a low-power attack didn't really hurt much, but I appreciate the effort. You did at least break my scouter." He indicated the smashed device on his face, before hurling it into the sea, "but I've already measured your strength and it's not nearly enough to defeat me." "Of course, I appreciate the effort, it's not every day I actually have to pay attention to win." He rushed forwards, punching both his opponents simultaneously and sending them flying backwards. "Come on, you can do better than that." Piccolo blocked a punch to his chest, jumping up and backwards. He began to charge energy in one of his hands, but thinking about this he momentarily lost track of his opponent. Nappa appeared above him, using both fists to hammer him downwards. Piccolo hit the water and rocketed straight down into the seabed. The ripples faded, and the water stilled. A hush fell as Nappa hovered a few feet above the ocean, glancing around. "That's funny," he muttered to himself, his power level just disappeared. "I couldn't have killed him with that attack, so he must be hiding it." Piccolo, having leapt up behind him, kicked the saiyan brute full force in the back, launching him back towards the island. Nappa hit the ground in a massive cloud of sand, and climbed back to his feet. "You know, that's gonna take forever to get out of my armor," he grumbled, looking up at the hovering Namek. "Alright, come on." Krillin and Yamcha dodged away from the madly attacking Cybermen. 3 on 2 is not good odds, Krillin said, ducking under an attacker. "Hey Yamcha, I think I have a technique that'll take care of these guys, but not if they're coming after us like this. Can you hold them for a bit?" "Leave it to me." Yamcha stepped between Krillin and the Cyberman, a ball of energy rising from his upturned palm. "Spirit ball, go." The ball flew at the Cybermen, scattering them, then as Yamcha gestured in different directions, it chased them around the room, keeping them busy as Krillin charged energy in both his hands. "Alright." He fired a slow-moving beam which stopped in the middle of the room, then split into 3. Each beam arced towards one of the distracted Cybermen, vaporizing them in midair. "Heh, I hope the old man has insurance on this place." Krillin looked around at the half-destroyed house. "What would we tell the company?" Yamcha asked. "That little green men from outer space wrecked it?" Krillin scratched his head. "Good point." "Okay." Goku tapped Raditz on the shoulder. "We need to make sure we're working together, or we don't have a chance." "Agreed. We're not going to win like this. The only other option would be to stall and wait for your human friend to arrive, but I'm not sure if he'll make a difference here. We can only hope." Goku readied himself. "Until then, we're on our own. We've been training together for a year now. We know each other's moves, our styles, we should be able to link our attacks and catch him off guard." Vegeta appeared behind them, startling them both. "Making plans, eh? It's no use, you know, no matter how much training you do, whatever clever stratagem you have, I represent something you will never surpass. Low-class warriors like yourselves have no chance against an elite." Goku and Raditz both threw close-range punches, and Vegeta caught one in each hand, smiling. "Try harder." The brothers nodded at each other, and attacked. Goku kicked at Vegeta's legs while Raditz swung his elbow at the prince's face. Vegeta caught Goku's foot, but had to leap aside to dodge Raditz's attack, leaving him disorientated. Before he could recover, they appeared in front of him, both punching him in the stomach. He coughed up blood, doubling over, and Raditz kicked him away. Goku appeared behind Vegeta as he hurtled back, but the prince hurled an energy blast, knocking Goku out of his way. Vegeta righted himself, breathing heavily, a vein throbbing angrily on his forehead. You dare! Piccolo lunged at Nappa, but the saiyan stepped out of the way, painfully wrenching Piccolo's arm and twisting it almost to breaking point. The Namek swiveled around, pulling his arm out of the hold, and fired a full-power energy blast at point-blank range. The explosion vaporized the water for half a mile back, practically deafening Piccolo. Ha. He tried to regain his breath, then stared in shock as the smoke cleared. Nappa stood there, almost unharmed, armor chipped in a few places, but essentially unaffected by the attack. One hand was held in front of his face to protect his scouter from damage. You know, Vegeta said you were about equal to me. Nappa dusted himself off. And sure, your power is impressive, but I don't think you have the stamina to keep up. Shut up. Piccolo growled, rushing forwards. Nappa punched him in the chest, stopping his charge, then kicked him into the air, sending him flying clean over the house. See? No stamina. Krillin and Yamcha looked around, but saw no sign of any Cybermen. Did we get them all? Krillin asked cautiously. I think so. Yamcha headed for the door. Well, let's go check on the others. Right. They walked out onto the beach, just in time to see Piccolo flying over their heads. Well, that can't be good, huh? Krillin's key sense warned him slightly too late, and he turned to see the all-too-familiar sight of a leaping Cyberman. Yamcha, too, only saw it as it was almost on them, without time to react. However, inches away from them, it was knocked out of the air and flew into the sea. The human fighters turned to see their savior. A small boy with scruffy black hair and a monkey-like tail, wearing an orange martial arts uniform and with a short red staff on his back, stood on the beach next to them. Leave them alone, he shouted, launching a barrage of energy waves which crashed into the sea, detonating underwater and engulfing the Cybermen. Gohan? Krillin asked, peering at the boy. That you? Yeah, I remember you. Gohan smiled. Your dad's friends, aren't you? So this is Goku's kid. Yamcha crouched down. Thanks for the help, little guy. That thing came pretty close to getting us both. Gohan nodded. My mom said I shouldn't be out fighting, or I might get hurt, but I wanted to see. Is it okay if I stay here? I guess, Krillin said, shrugging, but try to stay out of trouble, okay? Those two Saiyans are way out of our league. Vegeta snarled at Goku and Raditz. You think you're so clever, eh? You're nothing. Just low-class, renegade scum. I am the prince of all Saiyans. I cannot lose to the likes of you. All evidence to the contrary, Raditz replied, grinning. This will not stand. Vegeta held his arms out straight to either side, and fire blazed in the palms of his hands. Remember this technique, Raditz? He swung his arms forwards, throwing a volley of fireballs. Kakarot, dodge. Raditz flew to one side, and Goku sped away in the opposite direction. Vegeta kept up his bombardment as they dodged and twisted out of the way. As soon as they were far enough from each other, he stopped firing, and appeared in front of Goku, punching him away, before dashing over to Raditz, faster than their senses could follow and kicking him in the side, his foot raking painfully against Raditz's ribs. You see? He shifted to a low stance as his opponents tried to recover. Now, in case you still don't comprehend the impossibility of your task, allow me to show you the full power of a Saiyan elite. How'd you think they're doing, guys? Bulma asked nervously, pacing up and down the room. She was in the Capsule Corp headquarters, where she'd met up with Rashi, Launch, Chi-Chi, and Ox King. It's hard to tell. Rashi muttered. He could sense Ki, but the others were all wearing reverse-engineered scouters Bulma had given them. The news crews are still at the landing site and the destroyed city. They haven't traced the Saiyans to Kame House yet, so we can't see what's going on. Well, I don't think any of them have been killed, so there's something. Bulma fiddled with her scouter. I mean, I measured everyone's power levels while they were training, so the 6,000 is Goku and the 12,000 is Raditz. The two smaller ones are Krillin and Yamcha, and the 4 and 18,000 are the Saiyan invaders, cause they came from the direction of the destroyed city. She scratched her head. So I guess the other 4,000 reading must be Piccolo. I never got the chance to scan him, he was way too hard to track down. That doesn't explain everything. Launch, still in her blonde/aggressive state, frowned. I mean, just as the battle started, 6 little power levels appeared, and then disappeared. Then another one appeared, and it keeps jumping all over the place. I'm sure everything will be just fine, you guys. The Ox King waved a reassuring hand. They've never let us down before. Chi-Chi bit her lip. I don't know, that one Saiyan is as strong as Goku and Raditz put together. She put her head in her hands. Oh, Goku, come home safe. Nappa hovered above Kame House, waiting for Piccolo to resurface from underwater. Namek, oh, Namek, come on, Big Green, I haven't got all day. No response. Ah well. First, I'll get this out of the way. He pointed one finger at Kame House, and it exploded, pieces of charred wood scattering in all directions and sinking into the ocean. That's better. He dropped to the ground, feet sinking slightly into the sand. The huge Saiyan noticed Gohan, Yamcha and Krillin cowering on the beach, and gave a cruel smile. Oh, I'll get to you, just wait right there. But first, I've got to, huh? His scouter started beeping frantically. That must be the Namekian, but, that's some crazy power. Piccolo emerged from the sea, 2 fingers held up in front of his forehead, teeth gritted and sweat pouring down his forehead. Alright, Saiyan, let's see you stand up to this. Electric bolts of light started flaring around his fingertips. I've concentrated all of my energy into a single point. Waves of force rolled out from his body. Whole schools of fish were flash-fried as the water around them boiled. Bring it on, Nappa grinned. I don't think you can sustain such a high-power attack. By the time it hits me, it'll lose most of its energy. If you think so. Piccolo thrust his arm forward, a beam of yellow, spiraling energy emerging. Special beam cannon. Nappa realized his mistake too late, as the attack shot straight for him faster than he could avoid it. At the last moment, Vegeta hurled himself down towards Nappa, moving easily at least twice as fast as Piccolo's attack. Dodge, you imbecile! He kicked his larger comrade out of the way of the blast, and it sped by, knocking a chunk out of Nappa's armor. Vegeta turned to see Goku and Raditz charging at him. Hurry up and deal with these pests, he snarled, launching himself back into the sky. Nappa turned back to Piccolo. The Namekian was breathing heavily, completely exhausted. Well, Nappa said, smirking, you have pretty good energy control. If Vegeta hadn't intervened, I'd have lost my head. Too bad for you. Now, sparks started to build around his body. My turn. Rhea. The ground shook as Nappa's power built up within him. Piccolo's reactions were still sharp, tired as he was, and he knew he had to attack before his enemy had finished preparing his attack. Piccolo leapt forward, throwing a punch at Nappa's throat, but the saiyan caught it in one hand, and with the other he dealt Piccolo a devastating blow to the side of the head. Piccolo staggered back, clutching at his aching skull. Hey, Namek! Nappa lifted his head, then threw it forwards, a yellow energy beam bursting out of his mouth. Yeah, Piccolo looked up just in time to see the oncoming attack, and the blast hit him full on. A huge smoke cloud formed, and when it blew away, Piccolo was still standing. At first it appeared he'd survived somehow. Damn, you, science! He growled, then stumbled, fell, and lay still. I'll, revenge. He fell silent. Nappa wiped his mouth. Hey, not bad. He lasted longer than I expected. Now then, he turned to Yamcha, Krillin and Gohan, still staring at him in shock. Who's next? In the air, Vegeta again faced Raditz and Goku, smiling slightly. My sincerest apologies. I believe before I left I said something about showing you the full extent of my power? Humph. Raditz didn't see the point. We get it, you're powerful. Well, we're strong too, why don't we show you? He raised his guard. Vegeta grinned. Oh, I'm sure you are, but nowhere near this. He spread his limbs outward, then sent out a huge wave of power. What the Goku shielded himself. All that energy, it just came out of nowhere. Storm clouds gathered, and a hurricane-force wind picked up. Tsunami-sized waves flung themselves outwards, and at the center of the maelstrom hovered the Saiyan Prince, flinging around massive amounts of energy like it was nothing. Across the sea, whole buildings collapsed as tremors ran through the earth. Abruptly, Vegeta lowered his hands, and the storm died down. Silence fell. Now, he asked them, do you see what you are up against? Now do you realize that it is impossible to overcome such power? Well, Raditz was visibly shaken. That is, quite impressive. Yeah. Goku had been pushed back by the force of Vegeta's power, and had only just flown back up to him. I really can't believe this guy. Of course. Vegeta clenched his fists. I could destroy this whole planet if I wanted to. And now that you know it's futile to fight me, let me make you an offer. Come with me. Rejoin the Saiyan race. Think of the worlds we can conquer together. The battles we can fight, the glories we can win. Either of you would serve me much better than Nappa. No way. Goku gestured down at the planet. Raditz already made me the same offer and I've got everything I need right here. What you do is just wrong, no question. I expected that from you, you're an earthling through and through now. One of the good guys. Vegeta raised an eyebrow. But, how about you, Raditz? I was going to kill you for incompetence, but with such a high power level that'd just be a waste now. You only allied with these lesser beings out of necessity. Join me. Together, we can dispose of this renegade trash cockroach, cleanse and sell this world, and carve out an empire. Ha. Raditz seemed to be laughing. What's funny? The prince growled. You know. Raditz looked up at Vegeta. You almost had me there. I was seriously considering accepting your offer. But, his eyes narrowed. That renegade trash you're talking about is my brother. You want me to turn on him like that? He spread his arms out, building energy and igniting his aura. Go to hell. Nappa advanced slowly towards the two human fighters, who stood shielding Gohan. Oh, man, Krillin moaned, that guy just killed Piccolo. We're doomed. Not yet we're not. Yamcha took a step forwards. We took those green guys out, and there were 6 of them. I know we can take this one. Let's try our most powerful techniques right off the bat, don't want to take any chances. Okay. Krillin nodded to Gohan. You might want to stay behind us, kid. He put one hand in the air, palm up, as Yamcha held his hand out in front of his face. Kienzan ha. Spirit ball, go. The two attacks arced their way towards Nappa, who grinned. His scouter warned him about Krillin's razor-edged disc of ki, so he jumped over it, but he grabbed Yamcha's attack between both hands and, did he just eat my spirit ball? Yamcha asked, incredulous. Nappa landed in front of them. Hey, not bad. Anything else you want to try before you die? He kicked Krillin in the chest, the short warrior flying away and landing face down in the sand next to Gohan. Yamcha grimaced. Alright, that does it. You can't just toss us around like we're some kind of joke. Wolf Fong fist. He leapt at Nappa, but the scion caught both of his swinging hands, and headbutted him into the ground beside Krillin. Apparently I can. The humans climbed to their feet. Ow, somebody get the number of that truck. Yamcha rubbed his head. Alright, we're not finished yet. Right. Krillin looked at Gohan. Hey Gohan, did your dad ever teach you the Kamehameha technique? Gohan nodded anxiously. Alright, think you can try it now? We're both gonna fire, so we want to add all our power together. Right. Gohan turned to face Nappa, and the three defenders of the earth cupped their hands by their sides, focusing all their energy into a single point. Ka, me, ha, me. They all said together. Ooh, this should be fun. Nappa stretched his shoulder muscles. Let's see it. HAA. The three blue beams shot at Nappa, meeting just in front of him and colliding with the Saiyan brute as one. For a moment, the light from their attack blocked out everything. Then, they began to see movement. Nappa was striding forward through their attack, pushing it back. He kept walking, completely unfazed, until he was standing inches away. Then he just stood still until they finally ran out of energy and their beams faded and died down. Nappa stood towering above them, smoke rising from his ruined armor, his scouter smashed. Hey, I almost felt that one. He grabbed Krillin by the head, lifting him clean into the air. But I'm getting bored now, so I figure it's time to finish this. He effortlessly twisted Krillin's head 180 degrees, snapping his neck like a twig. Still smiling, he dumped the body at Yamcha's feet. You're next, Scarface, but I thought I'd give you a minute to soak it up. Yamcha stood motionless, trying to speak. No, Krillin, why, you? He shrank back in fear of Nappa. Gohan, now in front of Yamcha, stared down at Krillin's lifeless body. His shoulders shook, and tears rolled down from his eyes. It wasn't that Krillin had been a great friend, he'd only seen him twice in his life, but Gohan had simply never seen anyone die before. You killed him. It wasn't the most eloquent of battle cries, but coming from a child of 5, it was enough. Gohan charged forward, slamming his shoulder into Nappa's gut. The half-Saiyan child jumped up as Nappa doubled over, wheezing in pain, smashing both fists into Nappa's face. Nappa howled and staggered backwards, and Gohan kicked him straight back into the water. What the? Yamcha stared in disbelief. Gohan. Raditz charged at Vegeta, landing a solid punch to the prince's jaw. As Vegeta spun round, Raditz, still in a rage, grabbed him by his hair and smashed Vegeta's face into his knee. Before he could land another blow, Vegeta spun out of his grasp, raining punches on Raditz and knocking him away. Vegeta stood upright in the air. Well, Raditz, I didn't think you had it in you. As Raditz was about to reply, Goku interrupted. Gohan, what's he doing down there? He flew down towards the island at full speed. I've got to get him out of here, Vegeta intercepted, appearing in front of Goku and kicking him away. Oh, no you don't. Vegeta laughed a little, noticing Gohan's tail. So, you got a son on this planet? Well, let's see how well he does against Nappa, shall we? You're human friends, too. They hovered there, in a standoff, watching events unfold. But the tension snapped when Krillin died. Goku flew at Vegeta, uncaring of the odds. Krillin. Raditz charged in after his brother, joining the brutal combat. For every blow they struck, Vegeta would give them 2 or 3 each in return. Every time Goku broke away to help his son, the prince blocked his way. Damn you! Goku yelled. Hold on, Gohan. Gohan was breathing heavily, almost unable to believe he had just fought like that. But before he could fully recover, Nappa leapt back onto dry land, shaking water off himself like a dog. Well, the kid's got spirit. He raised one gigantic fist. Maybe a little too much. Gohan trembled in fear. Gohan. No. Goku tried to reach them, but Vegeta knocked him away again, spinning to face Raditz. Nappa's fist swung downwards, Dodon Ray. A narrow beam of yellow light slammed into the side of Nappa's face, knocking him flat on his back. Everyone turned in the direction the attack had come from. A bald, three-eyed man stood on the beach, one smoking finger held out in front of him. Teen? Goku's face lit up. Teen, it is you. I can't tell you how glad I am to see you. Wow, you must have been hiding your energy real well, none of us even knew you were coming. Teen's stern expression lightened. It's good to see you all too. I'm sorry I took so long to get here, it could have been even longer, but luckily I remembered how long it would take me to get back down Snake Way, and left early. Goku blinked. Snake in the what now? Vegeta stared at the newcomer. This can't be, the human that died defending Raditz? Proof that the Dragon Balls do work, at least. Nappa pulled himself to his feet. I'll tell you the whole story later, Teen said, nodding to Goku. Why, you? Nappa rubbed his cheek. I don't know where you came from, but you're gonna regret that. He made a grab at Teen, but swung at thin air, stumbling forward. Hey, what the? Teen now stood behind him. He ignored Nappa, walking over to Yamcha and Gohan. He noticed Krillin's body. Damn it. He clenched his fists. I was still too late. Yamcha indicated the water where Piccolo's body floated. He got Piccolo too. Teen glared at Nappa. Which means the Dragon Balls are useless. And even if they weren't, Krillin's already been wished back, it won't work again. He strode towards the massive scion. You're going to pay for this. Shut up. You're nothing compared to us. Nappa lashed out, but Teen caught his fist in one hand. Well, I can't say much for your speed. He smiled. But you look pretty resilient. Beating you could take a while, so I think I'll speed things up a bit. He shifted to a lower stance, concentrating all his power at once. A flame-red aura blazed into life around him. Kaioken! Moving even faster than before, he started hammering away at Nappa, easily countering the blundering counterattacks and raining precision strikes all over Nappa's body. After a few seconds the scion could take it no more, launching a wave of energy in every direction which staggered Teen back. Teen jumped over Nappa, landing behind him. Alright, I need to finish this, Kaioken ×2. He became a blur and disappeared. Nappa glanced around frantically, and a fraction of a second later, something impacted with his back. There was an audible crack as his spine gave way, and Nappa toppled to the ground, his face twisted in agony. Teen reappeared in front of him, his red aura fading. What was that? Raditz asked in disbelief. He was almost as fast as me for a second there, and for a mere human. Teen floated up next to Goku and Raditz. It's a technique King Kai taught me in the other world. The Kaioken, it multiplies my strength, but I have to be careful, or it could damage my body if I use it too much. He said especially to never use it to more than double my power. But that's incredible. Goku laughed. Using that KO thingy, you've surpassed me. Altogether, we might have a chance of beating Vegeta. Vegeta was speechless. A power high enough to crush Nappa, in a mere human, what was he? Teen turned his three-eyed gaze on the prince. Vegeta, right? Hey, Goku, Raditz, why don't you give me a shot at him? He stepped in front of the Saiyan brothers, before turning back for a moment. Oh, and Raditz, good to see you on our side. You don't have to be like them. He focused back on Vegeta. Now, let me show you the true strength of humanity. Teen was a realist, he'd felt Vegeta's power all the way from Kami's lookout, and he'd seen him toss around Goku and Raditz like they were amateurs. And because of his tri-beam technique, he had experience with pushing his body to the limit, so hopefully he could manage this. Sorry, King Kai, he thought grimly. Kaioken ×3. Power exploded around his body, and Teen dashed in, the sudden burst of speed surprising Vegeta. A flurry of punches sent him flying backwards, and Teen spun around behind his opponent. Incredible. Raditz couldn't believe his eyes. He's more powerful than I am. A kick to the stomach sent Vegeta flying, and Teen raced forwards, pressing his advantage. However, Vegeta vanished before Teen's next attack connected. He appeared above Teen, crashing into him with both feet and knocking him away. Teen flipped upright, his aura evaporating. The prince wiped blood from his face. You will pay for that, human. He resumed his stance. Now, if you're done showing off, I've gotten over my surprise, and even with that boost, it'll still be easy to wipe all three of you from this world. He flew at his three enemies, and battle rejoined. Gohan and Yamcha stared up at the high-speed combat. Wow, Yamcha muttered, look at him go. Can we win? Gohan asked, wide-eyed. I don't know. Yamcha squinted, trying to keep up. Whatever that attack of Teen's was, it must have drained him, cause he stopped using it. And even with three of them, that Vegeta guy's picking them apart. They just can't match his speed. At Capsule Corp, everyone was thoroughly confused. Bulma hesitated. Both of the 4,000 power levels have vanished, so I guess one of the Saiyans is down, but so is Piccolo. That could be a good thing, Launch pointed out. I mean, Piccolo was pretty evil too, he was only fighting for us cause he had to. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, what worries me is I'm not picking up Krillin's power anymore, and suddenly there's this big new one, which has been jumping up and down sometimes almost as high as that other Saiyan. Oh, Ox King shifted nervously. You don't think Krillin is? I just don't know. Bulma sighed. This far away, if he fell unconscious, or was just really tired, it wouldn't pick him up at all, so it's impossible to tell until the battle is over. Chi-Chi folded her arms. Well, I'm just glad I stopped them sending my Gohan out there. Can you imagine my poor little boy fighting aliens at his age? No, it's better if he just keeps up his studies. There are more ways to make the world a better place than fighting, Yeah, I guess. Bulma answered. Not really relevant. Vegeta grabbed hold of Goku's leg and swung him away into Raditz, sending both Saiyans flying away in a tangle of limbs. Teen hung in the air in front of Vegeta, struggling to think past the pain from the beating he'd just taken. Well, that was quite a dramatic entrance, Vegeta told him, but I think it's fair to say you haven't quite lived up to the hype. After what you did to Nappa, I was expecting more of a fight. Well, I guess you are only a human. Teen scowled at him. How is it possible for somebody so strong to exist? Even a Kaioken ×3 didn't faze him. Well, I guess there's only one option. He closed his eyes, summoning up his strength, his third eye always remaining open, staring at Vegeta. Goku and Raditz separated, looking over at Teen as steam rose from his body. The ocean started to evaporate beneath him, creating a whirlpool of boiling water. Please, body, he thought. Don't fail me now. Yaya, Kaioken, ×4. On King Kai's planet, the blue-skinned deity's antenna pricked up. Times what? Goku and Raditz saw only a flash of red as Teen slammed into Vegeta. The human warrior knocked Vegeta back and forth, one way and the other, past them and back again, much faster than their senses could follow. The fighters reappeared mere feet away in front of them, Teen kicking Vegeta away into the air. Teen relaxed, his aura disappearing. Veins stood out all over him. Sweat rolled down his body. He gasped for breath. Take that, you overgrown monkey. Goku steadied his friend. Take it easy, teen. You did great. Hold that thought. Raditz tapped Goku on the shoulder, pointing to Vegeta, who was just starting to recover from Teen's ferocious assault. He hovered shakily in the air, one eye half closed from a vicious elbow to his forehead. Bruises, cracks in his armor and dripping blood dotted his body. I will not stand for this. He roared. I will not be beaten, by you, human. He launched himself into the air, coming to a halt several hundred meters above the earth. Feel free to dodge this attack. If it hits the ground, it'll destroy your whole planet. What? Raditz gasped. Vegeta, are you insane? You'll die with us. That is the difference between us. Vegeta started to glow with purple energy. I am a true saiyan. I will sacrifice anything for my pride. What do you know of honor? He raised his hands next to his head. Gallic gun. Kakarot. Raditz charged energy in both his hands. Human person. Prepare to deflect his attack. You don't need to tell me. Goku focused his power. Ka, me, ha, me. Teen raised his hands. I don't have much energy left, but I'll give what I have. Tri beam. The three warriors released their attacks simultaneously. Ha! Vegeta, seeing the oncoming beam, threw his hands forward. Fire! The gigantic purple beam of energy raced down towards the earth, only to be met by the opposing attack, a blend of Raditz, Goku and Teen's attacks red, blue and yellow. The explosion when the two beams collided sent out such massive waves of force the island Kame House had stood on completely sank beneath the waves. Tidal waves of unprecedented scale swept the coasts on all sides of the ocean which the battle was being fought on. News crews, hurrying to track down the aliens, found their helicopters grounded. At Capsule Corp, all the reverse-engineered scouters being used to track the battle exploded simultaneously, unable to handle the massive energy spike. All over the world, delicate scientific instruments scanning for electromagnetic waves suffered fatal malfunctions, sometimes detonating violently. Goku struggled to keep pushing his ki forward, but maintaining his Kamehameha was an uphill struggle even with all three of them working together. Vegeta's attack was beginning to push its way downwards, they were losing. Raditz grinned. At least I'll die, knowing I was right about just how conceited this guy is. Huh? What's that? Goku found it difficult to concentrate on Raditz talking, with all the effort he was putting into his blast, but he tried to focus. Gallic gun. Gallic was a great Saiyan hero. He claimed to be descended from the Super Saiyan. I can't believe Vegeta has the nerve to compare himself with such a great warrior. The three fighters started to sink lower in the air, trying to use as little ki as possible to fly, to put more into the struggle. Super Saiyan? I'll have to tell you that one, in the next world. Raditz turned back to face upwards, focusing on staying alive as long as possible. Goku grimaced. There didn't seem to be anything they could do. If they dodged out of the way, the earth would be destroyed. Teen, Goku shouted. Any chance you could try that KO whatever? I don't think so. Teen shouted back over the roar of Vegeta's steadily approaching attack. I've already pushed it way past the limit, my body has barely enough energy left to sustain this tri-beam as it is. I don't think I could do even the basic level Kaioken. I know this is asking a lot of you, Teen, but you have to try. We'll all die anyway if you don't. I don't know, it's too much. Teen, do you want Earth to be destroyed or what? Goku's eyes narrowed. He knew it sounded harsh, but it was the only way they could win. Everyone will die. Kaiatsu, do you want that for Kaiatsu? Does he deserve that? Teen took a deep breath. All three of his eyes closed, a rare sight. He reached deep inside himself, summoning the last of his strength. Saiyan, he yelled up at Vegeta. He didn't know if the prince could hear him, and he didn't care. Even if it kills me, I can't let you win. Ya. The familiar flame-red aura exploded to life around him. The veins on his neck and forehead bulged angrily. We're with you, Teen. Goku reassured him, redoubling his own efforts. Hurry up. Raditz muttered shakily. Kaioken. Times 3. There was a furious roar as power flooded out of Teen, pouring up into the combined beam and colliding with Vegeta's at full force. Vegeta was grinning, almost laughing. At last, he'd created a situation these fools couldn't escape from. It was their planet or themselves, and of course they chose to die like heroes. This is the end for all of you. There's nothing you can do now. Nothing left to. What is the colossal energy wave crashed into Vegeta, flinging him away into the sky, with one final scream of rage. Teen collapsed, almost unconscious, and Goku caught him, holding his friend up in the air. That was awesome. Nice work, Teen. Teen gasped, drawing in ragged breaths as his muscles burned from the strain he'd put himself through. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Raditz folded his arms, staring up at the sky. But I don't think that killed him. Are you serious? Goku's eyes widened in shock. After that? Nobody could have survived it. Vegeta could. Raditz scanned the sky above him for some sign of their enemy. Never underestimate someone like that. But, he may be getting desperate. Vegeta hung in the air miles above, battered and bruised, smoke rising from small burns all over his body. This cannot be happening. I am the prince of my race. I should be able to crush this entire world. And yet these low-class warriors and this earthling resist me. His whole body shook with anger. How can they? How dare they? What right do they have to stand in my way? If I claim this world, they should obey me. He hurled himself off through the air. I will be immortal. I just need to find this world's moon. Several minutes of searching yielded nothing. Where is it? You can't just hide a damn moon. Raditz spun around as his key sense flared up. Here he comes. Goku, still holding up Teen, turned in the direction Raditz was looking. That's him alright, he's not gonna be happy. Hey Teen, I think I'm going to have to fight. Can you fly on your own? Goku looked down at the sea. Otherwise you might have to swim. I'll try. Teen pushed away, holding himself in the air a little shaky, but it was enough. Okay, I can't fight, but I can hang here under my own power and leave you free. Alright. Raditz, you ready? I don't think I've ever been ready to fight someone like Vegeta. Raditz muttered. Vegeta came to a halt in front of them. I bet you're feeling pretty good about this battle right now. And maybe you thought destroying the moon would stop me transforming. Goku took a second to realize what he was talking about. Oh, that was Piccolo. I don't care who it was. The point is, he thrust one hand upwards, producing a pure white ball of light. You haven't stopped me. This technique creates an artificial moon, which means nothing's changed. Once I transform, you're all going to die. Oh, and I wouldn't look too closely at it if I were you. He grinned. Only high-class fighters like myself have learned to control this form, so if you transformed you'd attack friend and foe alike, you wouldn't be helping your friends at all. The ball of light hovered in the air, and Vegeta stared up at it. This battle is over. His transformation will take a few seconds, right? Goku frowned. Raditz had told him all about the Saiyan transformation. We've got to think of something, or he'll kill us all. Vegeta began to grow, reaching double his normal size in under a second. Raditz glanced down at Gohan and Yamcha, staring up at the battle above. He remembered just in time, Gohan was part Saiyan, too. Gohan, don't look up. Keep your head down. Vegeta's made an artificial moon, and you'll transform if you look. Fur began to sprout all over Vegeta's body, and his face lengthened out into a snout. Right. Gohan turned his gaze down to the ocean. Hey Yamcha, I can't look at it, so will you tell me what's going on up there? Yamcha nodded. Sure thing, kid. Teen spoke up. Goku, Raditz, there's something I could try. The other technique King Kai taught me, the spirit bomb. What's that? Goku asked. It uses energy gathered from the entire world, every living thing, even the planet itself, to make an extremely powerful attack. I don't know if it'd stop Vegeta, but it's worth a shot. Then do it. Anything's worth a try if it'll help us win. Raditz grinned. We might have a chance. Teen stretched his hands out upwards, calming his mind. The problem is, I'll need time to gather all the planet's energy, and I don't think we have much. I think he's done. Teen pointed, and the others looked around. Vegeta had finished his transformation, and was looking down at them with an evil grin. Now what will you do, insects? He rumbled. Teen. Raditz stared straight into the artificial moon. You'll have your time. I'll hold Vegeta off. But it's like he said, you won't be able to control yourself. Goku started to panic. How will you know who to attack? The driving thought in my mind for the past year, Raditz said, through gritted teeth which were already lengthening into fangs, has been to beat Vegeta. Hopefully it's a strong enough drive to at least direct my anger when I transform, RGH. He, too, began to grow, within 10 seconds becoming a second gigantic monkey-like beast. Raph! Raditz's eyes narrowed, and he hurled himself at Vegeta. What? Vegeta raised his massive arm to block the first thundering blow. How is that? He does remember. Goku grinned. Teen, how are you doing? It'll take a couple of minutes, but I'm getting there. Teen smiled. I hadn't realized how much energy this planet has. The spirit bomb will take care of Vegeta for sure. Alright, I just have to take care of something. Goku flew down to Gohan and Yamcha. Hey, guys. This is intense. Yamcha was still staring as Vegeta grappled with Raditz. They've turned into giant apes. Well, apes don't have tails. Gohan pointed out. Oh, right. Yamcha rubbed the back of his head. I knew that. Goku put a hand on each of their shoulders. You've both been really brave, thanks for all your help. But it's too dangerous here. I can't let my son get caught up in a battle like this. And Yamcha, I need you to look after Gohan. Will you do that for me? Yamcha laughed. No need to hide it, Goku, this battle is far beyond me. You're just trying to be nice. But sure, I'll watch Gohan. Come on, he said to Gohan, let's get you back home. With any luck, your mom will never know you were gone. Right. Gohan took something off his back, a short red staff. He held it out to his father. Take this, Dad. I found it in your room at home, and it made me feel braver, 'cause it reminded me of you. Goku took it. My old power pole, huh? It grew slightly longer to accommodate its larger wielder. Thanks. Why don't I use it to remind me of you? He whirled the weapon around a bit. It's been a while, huh? Well, let's get going, Yamcha said. He and Gohan took off, heading for land. Goku flew back up to Teen. How's Raditz doing? He asked. Not great. Teen indicated the transformed Saiyans, trading blows which vibrated in the two onlookers' bones. He's putting up a good fight, but Vegeta clearly has the advantage. I expected that, Goku replied. Raditz told me that a Saiyan gets 10 times stronger when they transform, so since Vegeta started out more powerful, he's going to stay that way. Plus, having full control over the form lets Vegeta use his skill more efficiently. He's still able to plan and fight like an intelligent being. I think Raditz knew he'd lose. Teen started to glow faintly with white light as he gathered energy from the planet. He never planned to do anything more than buy me time for the spirit bomb. It's taking much longer to gather than I thought. He grimaced. I spent too much time practicing the Kaioken. It helped earlier, when I used it up to ×4, but here it might mean my spirit bomb isn't finished in time, and Vegeta kills us all. Goku turned back to the battle. Come on, Raditz, hold on a little longer. Vegeta sidestepped Raditz's lunge and grabbed the other Saiyan's arm in both monstrous hands. He cruelly twisted it around, feeling the bones underneath snap under the pressure. Raditz held and broke away, his arm hanging loose. Without warning, he shot a massive energy wave from his mouth which bowled Vegeta over. Raditz leapt after his enemy, but Vegeta caught him in mid-flight with his foot, then hammered both fists into Raditz's chest, ribs cracking with the force of the impact. Vegeta grinned, kicking Raditz down into the sea. After the massive impact of the monster hitting the water, there was nothing. The sea died down, and no movement came from underneath. Vegeta turned to the other two, they would be even easier to kill. Maybe he'd make Kakarot tell him how to find the Dragon Balls before killing him. Maybe not, there were bound to be others on this planet who knew. Damn, Teen moaned. Raditz is down, and I still need a little more time. I don't think I can buy you more than a few seconds. Goku tried to come up with a plan as Vegeta slowly approached. You've caused me a lot of trouble, Earthlings. Vegeta growled. But finally, I'm rid of you. He opened his mouth, and a purple glow came from within as he prepared to fire an energy beam. Oh, that's not good. Goku put himself in front of Teen, maybe he could shield his friend from the attack. Vegeta roared, throwing his head forwards, but just as the beam was about to leave his mouth, he froze. Silence fell for several seconds, then was broken by a huge splashing sound, Vegeta's severed tail, hitting the water. Ah, no, what did you? Vegeta shrunk as quickly as he'd grown, his bestial appearance fading until he'd returned to normal. No, damn you, who could have? He turned to face his attacker, to see a short figure, hovering in the air, holding a sword. Goku and Teen gaped at the sight. That looks like Yajirobe's sword, but that's not him. Teen muttered. No, it's. Goku did a double take. Gohan stood facing Vegeta, a determined expression on his face. Vegeta looked down at the child with a mixture of confusion and hatred. How did you can't. He tripped over his words in shock. My uncle Raditz told me, if you cut a Saiyan's tail off, they can't transform. Gohan replied to Vegeta's half-spoken question. And I couldn't leave him and my dad to fight you on their own, I knew I had to help them. He leapt at Vegeta, swinging the sword, but the prince had got over his disorientation upon losing his tail, and kicked Gohan away. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? Yamcha shouted, hovering between Vegeta and Gohan. Get out of my way. Vegeta launched an invisible ki of energy, launching the two of them backwards. I'm not here to fight children and earthlings. That's what I had Nappa for. But, he thought, for the loss of his tail, he'd be back for the half-breed when he was done with the real fighters. Goku appeared behind him. Teen didn't kill him, you know. Vegeta turned to face him. Ah, Kakarot. Back for more, I see. He smiled. And actually, we all killed him. He was lying on the island which, if you remember, sunk into the ocean when I launched my Gallic gun. It's been far too long for him not to have drowned, though Raditz might still be alive. He hasn't been under long. Goku, reminded of Raditz's predicament, pointed down at the sea. Yamcha, go get Raditz and pull him back up, or he'll drown. But he's grown so large. Yamcha shrugged. I don't think I could lift him. Then take the sword from Gohan and cut Raditz's tail off. Hurry! Goku yelled. Yamcha did as he was told, diving under the water. Gohan, guard Teen. Goku readied his power pole. I'll take care of Vegeta. He wondered how Gohan had got hold of Yajirobe's sword anyway, he'd have to ask him later. There were more important things to worry about now. The two Saiyans stared each other down. What makes you think you can fight me, Kakarot? Vegeta asked. Tell me where the Dragon Balls are and I might kill you quickly and cleanly. We've been through this. Goku answered. I don't care how powerful you are, I'm not giving up. A thought occurred to him. Although, if you want to go home now, feel free. Huh? You want me to run away on the brink of victory? Actually, you've already lost. The Dragon Balls were created by a being called Kami and he's linked to Piccolo, the Namekian you killed. What? If Piccolo dies, Kami dies. And if Kami dies, the Dragon Balls cease to exist. What? Goku smiled. So you may as well go. There's nothing to fight for anymore. Leave this planet in peace. Nothing, you say? Vegeta clenched his fists. I have my honor to fight for. I can't let myself be humiliated by low-class scum like you and Raditz, much less these humans. Besides, if it's Namekians that can create Dragon Balls, I'll just go to their home planet of Namek when I'm done here and make myself immortal there. And in the meantime, that makes you and all your friends useless to me. He charged at Goku. Prepare yourself.
If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/kaiyashin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my Patreon. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Nicholas Berenger, Ben Phillips, Yamatancho, Taco TSK, Yuki, Search 1301. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.